Hello, in this video I want to talk about recording stuff. And the particular stuff I want to talk about recording is the screen share. There are many times when somebody asks you how to do something and you say, oh yeah, it's easy, you go to so-and-so website, you put in these details and it all comes out. And within Toastmasters, we always seem to be talking to each other about how to use particular parts of the websites and to get around. I'm sure you have those issues as well. So how do you do it? Well, if you want to give the personal service, then you would jump on a Zoom call like I'm on now, and you could do it that way, and you could show the people. But there are times when, well, firstly, you may not have the time to liaise with them so that you can have that conversation. But secondly, I typically find that if one person asks a question, there's probably going to be another 10 to 20 people who are going to ask me exactly the same question within a few days, maybe just a few months. And therefore, I like to record the answer to that question so that it's available for the next person. This may seem like a lot of work, but actually it's less work doing this way because you only need to do it once. And one advantage of being a Toastmaster is I've got pretty good now at doing everything as one time takes. And also being a Toastmaster, I've accepted a level of quality that I can hit on a first time take 99 times out of 100. And I do not worry that it's not totally perfect, because this is a little bit of advice for somebody. It doesn't need to be that polished. And the person at the other end is going to appreciate you going to the trouble. In fact, the impulsive immediateness of this actually adds to its use and adds to the take up of people at the other end, because they don't know you did it for somebody else last week and you're just sending them a copy. As long as you make sure that you make your comments general, they think you've done it for them. In fact, I could have done this recording now saying, you, and I've done this for you, and you wouldn't be able to tell until you met somebody else who'd had the same recording. Anyhow, let's get rid of the twaddle, because the whole idea of these short videos is that they get to the point and get you out quickly. So the quickest and easiest way to do a screen recording, if you haven't got any other tools out there, is probably to use Zoom, as I am now. The advantage of that is you just start a Zoom call, have a conversation with somebody and who's not there, and you've got the video. You just hit the record button, as I did at the beginning. What if you want to share something that's on a website? Well, that's fine, because you can just hit the share screen button and you can share a screen, and I can pop up a screen of information and share that as well. And that will pop in the video as well. So for instance, I'm going to show you another program which I use, which allows me to go to the next level. But I'm going to use Zoom to record that recording. So we're going to have a recording of a recording. Is that exciting? Well, I find it exciting because there are so many ways in which this could go wrong. But anyhow, let's give it a go. So what's the advantage of doing Zoom? It's quick, it's easy, it's simple. You can have a copy of Zoom for free. And of course, you've got all the other options that if you want to do a real live, show somebody how to do it, you've got the same tool to do that. So it's a nice environment to get into. What's the disadvantage of that? The disadvantage is really simple. I've got one take on Zoom to get it right. It's going to record what I say, however badly I do it, in one go. And at the end, I've got a recording, but I've got no way of editing it unless I take it into another video editor. So the question is, if you do a lot of these, is there another tool to take this to the next level? And that is where I use a product called Camtasia. Now, Camtasia has cost me quite a bit of money over the years, but it probably cost about $300 to buy the first version. And then I upgrade every 2 or 3 years. There's little minor upgrades. They are putting more upgrades in, but this is my tool. And if you do this for money, i.e. there is money flying around within your job or within doing this particular task, Camtasia is by far the premium best ever product for doing this. And if you don't need to go to that level, then this video has finished. You can go, you may leave. For those that want to know how you take it to a next level, I'm going to show you just briefly what is available. If it's still available, and it usually is, Camtasia can be run on a 30-day trial, so you can have a go. In fact, you can actually record a few videos. So let me decide how I'm going to do this. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the whole screen of my computer. And I'm going to do that by, I'm going to move my pretty face of Zoom out of the way, and I'm going to share the whole screen. Okay, so there's a lot of clatter on here. Let's put Zoom out of the way and let's maximize this program. So this is Camtasia Studio. And to save time and make it easier to understand, what I have done is I've already recorded just now another video using Camtasia itself. So what I did was I hit the record button on Camtasia and Camtasia disappeared. And what I was left with is a little error box, which we'll ignore because we're not going to record anyhow. We got a little box here with our controls, and we've got a little dotted box here. This is the area that the screen recording is going to record into. Now, if I want to make it the full screen, I can go to the options in the first set of boxes, and I can change the rules. So I can make it record the whole screen. That screen one, which is the screen, which is this screen. Yes, I've got multiple screens. I had to check there. Can you see the dotted lines around the edge of the screen? I can choose it to go screen 2, which is my other screen, which is over there, which you can't see, or I can choose a custom region. And I can choose what I want to do. Whoops, that wasn't a custom region. That was me not hitting the buttons properly. So I can say I want to record from there to there. There we are. Or if I've got a particular size, I know I could do a HD size screen, a 1080 by, a 1080p screen, which is 1920 by 1080. There we are. Or I could choose a 720p screen, which is slightly smaller like that. So I know what size I'm recording. I can then drag and drop things into that screen and record. And that's my screen area defined. The next thing I can define is what camera. Now I've got to be careful on cameras because obviously we're on a camera on Zoom now. So I need to change this camera to a different camera. So that's my vMix camera, which isn't on at the moment, isn't activated. So that's why you can see color bars, but that's okay. That gives me a camera so I can see somebody. I've also got the sound device here, which you can see is actually picking up the noise. That's quite neat in a way because I'm talking into, oh yes, I'm talking through a different sound device. I was going to say you can't pick up the same sound device. So you can choose my sound device and I can pick up the audio, and I can also separately pick up the sounds from my computer. So if my computer is going to make noise, play videos, or have some audio coming out of it during the demonstration, I independently recording my sound audio, which means, of course, if I want to listen to my computer and I don't want to be talking over it, I can turn this off and it won't record my microphone. But in most cases, I want both. I want the sound of the computer, my sound, my video, and what I'm recording. But I'm not going to record or do a recording while I'm doing a recording because that just gets too confusing. So in the best traditions, I'm going to do, here's one I prepared earlier. So I've recorded this recording about how you send files. And here it is. And here it is on the bottom of the screen. You can see is like a timeline, which I can drag the cursor over and you can see as I act in the video. So why is this better than Zoom? Well, the simple reason is I can now edit the content. And I'm not going to go into the detail in this particular video, but I can do some quite neat things. And the most common neat things I do is I record something and I find this personal information on the screen which I've recorded, and I don't want that to be seen. So I can use some different effects here. I've got some behaviors so I can make things jump around. I can do animations so I can make the screen zoom into a particular part. So I'll show you that in a second. I've got some cursor effects so I can make it more obvious where the cursor is because you might get lost during the screen. And I can also do some annotations to add more content to the screen. So I can add, as you can see, I can add little message boxes here. So I can make things more interesting. But the most important thing I use is this little button here called Special, and there is a blur tool. So what I can do is I can drag the blur tool onto the screen and I can make a certain part of the screen blurred. So as I said, there's quite often you're doing a demonstration and you've used real world data, people's information, and you don't want that to be published when you record the video, but you can't stop it because it's there on the screen. So you need to get rid of it. And the only way to get rid of it is to hide it. And this blur tool is a nice way of doing it. In fact, I can even change the degree of blur. And quite often I will reduce the blur to a stage where you can see a gist of what's behind, but you still can't read it. And you can see on the timeline here, I have on track 4, I have that blur. So if I scrub across on time, you'll see I get to a certain time and the tool stops working, but that's okay. The tool needs to work until I hit that accept button. So we'll say there, and I can drag the width of that blur tool and make it extend the whole way. So now that blur tool applies to all the time that that message is up there. The other thing I can do is if there's a bit of the video I don't like, or maybe I did a mistake and I did a retake in the middle of the video, I can come down here, and another quick thing I can do is I can cut. So sorry, I've just marked that there, and I can put, I've just cut the, when you make a mistake, you've got the undo button. I wasn't going to show you the undo button at that point, but you can undo something. So I click that and the blur returned. Okay, I want to go to there and I want to put a cut in there, but I don't want to cut it, I want to split it. So there's the button, use the right term, John, and the software works. So you see, I've now split that in two. So I can now maybe take a bit out. So I can drag the end of that one and I can lose the end of that particular part of the video, and I can pull that there, and I've now made a cut between the two. And there are, you can merge those two together with, wipes and things like that as well, but I'm not going to go into all the detail of that for now. I'm just going to say that these little cursors and highlights are very neat for marking stuff, so things are really more obvious when you get to them. And the cursor is very good. The blur tool is very good, and the ability to change the screen, so I can make a zoom in function to the screen. So if I play that little bit for you now, I can even mark that so I can play that. If I play that now for you, you might well hear my voice talking about things here. Is just select, and you see there's the move in, like that. There are more skills available to you. Thank you, John. We'll have an end of that. There are more skills that you can use within Camtasia, but those are the main ones I use. Can you see how I've taken a presentation from a simple Zoom recording to another level? And that is why I use Zoom if I want to show somebody face-to-face. I can then record one if I want to share it with people. But if I really want to deliver great presentations and great content, I use the extra tools in Camtasia. And if you look on my YouTube channel, just before I release this one, this recording, which we've just been editing, showing about WeTransfer, the blur tool and everything else, that is the video I did on there as well. So you can see that one running as well and see Camtasia in action. And you will notice it looks exactly the same. So again, people at the other end won't know how clever you've been. They will just appreciate the knowledge. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's not about the tech. It's about the information that you will be able to share with them. And so, as I'm pretty happy with this recording, it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. I am going to stop my share. And I'm going to say to you, thank you very much for your time. This is going up on YouTube exactly as I've recorded it in Zoom, so you can see what it's like. And thank you for watching. Oh, I have to add the old thing. If you like this video, please subscribe for more. But for now, thanks for your time.